daily fantasy sports.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for February 20th, 2025. Someone asked me, why do you always say the date when you start your show? It's basically so I remember what date it is, because I have to title everything with the date. So it helps me to commit it to memory, because I'm very bad with the date. I'm always saying the wrong date. I'm always telling people that it's supposed to happen on this day when it's actually not happening on this day. So that's why I say the dates. I also made a big faux pas here right at the end of the show with Tony and Chris. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to stop. The U.S. has scored a goal. They have tied it up against Canada in the championship game of the Four Nations face-off. So I don't know how Tkachuk, I think is his name. I don't honestly know how to spell that. It's T... Yes, to Chuck. Anyway, 1-1 now for the USA. I'm happy to see that. All right, back to the story I was telling, which is there's like a button in here on the board that if you put it in, then the person that's away from the studio, so Tony, he is able to hear during the breaks, hear us talk and stuff. And so it's easier for us to communicate during the breaks. So that button is on, usually always. And so I had Tony on there, and I wasn't listening, as you guys could see. He was there talking to us. I just couldn't see him on the camera. But after the show, I say bye to Tony, and then I turn off the little button. But that other button that Tony can hear me is still on. And I told Chris, well, if he was sitting in front of his computer, then I would have seen him. I wouldn't have just kept him down. And Tony texted us immediately after and saying, hey, I heard that. So let's start off with the faux pas. And that's going to be a faux pas. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's nothing I wouldn't have said to Tony to his face, but didn't think he was listening at the time. But that's how we're going to start off the Skraby Show for today. And we're going to have a fun Skraby Show ahead. There's a lot we're going to talk about. I'll keep you up to date on Team USA versus Canada in the championship of the Four Nations face-off. So they're just coming to the end of the first period, about 2 minutes to go, 1-1 tied game. We are going to also talk about Aaron Boone a little bit, because I think that I was looking through his stats, and I don't know why the fans of New York are so angry at Aaron Boone. I understand that he hasn't won the big game. I understand that he hasn't taken them won the World Series. He only took him to the World Series once. But Aaron Boone is a much better coach, I think, than anyone gives him credit for. And so we'll talk about that. Also, Juan Soto gave Brett Beatty something for his number 22 with the Mets. And then I told everybody that I was going to save my last night gripe for tonight gripe. And I'm going to go triple gripe Thursday, everybody. I'm going to give you the gripe from last night. I'm going to give you another gripe, and then I'll give you a third gripe. So the third gripe, the other two gripes may be, lesser gripes, but the first gripe is definitely gripe. So that's at the end of the show. How many more times can I say gripe in a 5-second period? I just said it a lot of times. I wanted to start here, though, because if you're new to the show, if you're listening for the first time to the show, and you want to know what you're going to get, here is what Skrabinator Prolific sent me last night after he asked X's AI Grok what the Skraby Show is all about. Grok 3 is out, is what they're calling it. And I gotta say, Grok 3 maybe wrote a bio for me that's better than something that I could write. Not joking. So here is what... So Prolific asked on X, what is the Skraby Show? And the answer from Grok. The Skraby Show is a sports talk radio program hosted by Matt Skraby, airing weekdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan. Launched on January 8th, 2024, it features Skraby's unique and quirky take on sports, often focusing heavily on the San Diego Padres baseball team alongside other sports topics. The show blends commentary, analysis, and behind-the-scenes insights, drawing from Skraby's experience as producer for Gwen and Chris, another program on the same station. It's available live on air, blah, 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 blah. Listeners can catch episodes covering game recaps, player trades, and broader sports discussions. Skraby's style is informal and engaging, often mixing humor with passionate fandom, particularly for the Padres. I just have to say, this right here is almost creepy how accurate this description is of me. I'm not kidding. I may take what Grok wrote about me and use it in my bio, because that's better than anything that I have ever written for myself. I have no idea how it was so accurate. It's so accurate, it scares me a little bit. Like, what do they know about me that is being picked up on Twitter for them to have all of this information right here to make a pretty good bio? I cannot believe that. So thank you, Prolific, for sending me the Grok 3 answer for the Skraby Show. But I am happy with this. This is exactly what I want the Skraby Show to be. And they described it perfectly. So I wanted to start off there because, you know what? If you're listening for the first time, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a quirky guy who says a lot of stuff that sometimes he gets in trouble for because he doesn't think about it. But that's me. That is me, and you're all here because you want to hear Crazy Guy. You want to hear the train or the car crash. You want to hear that. That's what you're tuned in for. All right, let's see what we got going on right now. So, I think I want to start with this because we started with Jackson Merrill yesterday. And I said Jackson Merrill is my favorite player of all time. I said Jackson Merrill is amazing. I said Jackson Merrill is the guy that needs to be on this team. Someone who just wants to continue getting better. Well, I think it's time that we praise Luis Arraez a little bit, because Luis Arraez is a guy who played with a torn ligament in his thumb last year. We've said this a million times. He ended up winning the batting title. But I don't really think that we are giving him enough credit for how difficult that was last year to win a batting title with a torn thumb ligament. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it, honestly. He even said it was tough. But this morning, Sammy Lev talking to some of the Padres in the clubhouse. And here's one of the wrinkles, the twists that we haven't really seen coming. And apparently, Luis Arraez is going to be the full-time first baseman. It's going to be the first time he's going to be the full-time first baseman. Easy for me to say, which I didn't necessarily think was going to be a thing. But the media asked him about being the Padres' regular first baseman, and here's what he had to say.
I'm not a first base. I'm not at the age. I play second base, But if in my chill say, hey, you come play first base, I'll be there, I'm a teammate. I want to play every day. If I see my name in the lineup, I'll be excited and happy.
Basically, if he sees his name in the lineup, he's going to be happy. And these are the guys that we want on this team. I'm not saying that Rafael, I keep saying his name, it's either Rafael or Rafael, but Devers. I keep saying that he's not selfish for wanting to play his own position, but there's also some other things. Like if, say, the Padres brought in Alex Bregman, this would never happen. But say Alex Bregman plays first base, or say he plays, we'll just go third base. And Manny's like, what the heck? You're bringing in Alex Bregman? I play third base. I don't play anywhere but there. I'm not going to second base. And that's what Rafael Devers is doing. And that's, if the Padres did that to one of their players, I wouldn't have any problem with them saying they didn't want to move. It kind of happened last year, and Xander Bogaerts was, disappointed about it, but he also took it and he did it, and he played the position as well as he could, I think, last year. Luis Arraez, he's a guy who just wants to play. I don't know that being a full-time first baseman is something that I've wrapped my head around yet. I don't really think that he's a liability. He did play some good defense last year, and I think that we maybe look away from that defense a little bit. Does it worry me? He's their first baseman going forward. A little bit, because 162 games in the field is a lot. And I know that he DHs from time to time, and there's going to be, Connor Joe can come in and he can spell Luis Arraez for a little bit. I would think that if this team believes that he's good enough for first base, then I think that we should believe it too. I just have reservations about playing consistent first base throughout an entire season. I'm not even worried about the numbers. I know that everybody is going to say, hey, he's not a traditional first baseman. He doesn't have power numbers, which, excuse me, I just sneezed. It always happens when I'm by myself for some reason. I get in these sneezing fits. It's weird. But Luis Arraez, see, the sneeze just took my points, and now it is over. But back to me being a little cautious with the first base position with Luis Arraez. I just, power numbers is where I was going. I don't really care about the power numbers. I don't really care. On this team, it's constructed in a way that you can have your different guys doing different things, and it doesn't need to be traditional numbers. You don't need your first baseman to have 30 home runs. Your first baseman this year is probably going to hit over 300. He's not going to have 30 home runs. Might have anywhere between 8 to 15. 15 being a high number. And you're going to get your production elsewhere. You're going to get your production from Fernando. You're going to get your production from Manny. Hopefully you're getting your production from Xander, and hopefully you're getting more production at with Jake. So in that regard, in the lineups regard, I'm not worried about it. Defensively, I'm a little worried about the entire season being a full-time first baseman. Now, Luis Arraez is shockingly young. I always am a little surprised when I see how young Luis Arraez is, because he was born in 1997, so he's 27 years old, April 9th. So on April 9th, he's going to be 28 years old. That tells me that he's, still in great shape. Obviously, he's in great shape. So maybe I shouldn't worry about his body breaking down or anything like that, but it is something that we got to follow. And I don't think he played a terrible first base last year, but I'm not completely sold on him being the full-time first baseman. Doesn't really matter what I think, but I hope he proves me wrong. I'm not saying he can't play defense. I'm just saying, last year with him going in and out of the lineup, I think that worked a lot better, but he also was injured, so we have to keep that in mind. Maybe being healthy this year will help him out. All right, let's get to break because we have some more to talk about. Xander Bogaerts actually talked about one of the Padres prospects and praised him a little bit. We're going to talk about Aaron Boone, and we still have this new stat that is putting out there. Deception runs and deception plus. I'm going to try and figure out how to explain this, but we're also going to get into a conversation about stats in baseball because I think it's getting a little ridiculous. And we'll do that at the end of the show. So stick with me. You can watch on YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan, and you can also watch on Twitter at Matt Skraby, or you can also you can go to Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. So back shortly with Brett Beatty and how much it cost Juan Soto to get his number 22. All that's next. It's very nice to see my locker next to him. We share the same position, so definitely a lot of stuff I can help him with. He seems like a kid who wants to learn. I played with him in a couple rehab games, and to me, it seemed like he was the real deal. Hopefully, that continues. That was Xander Bogaerts talking about the up-and-coming Leonidas DeVries. And if Xander's going to give his approval of it, I love it. I also love that he's got a locker right next to Xander Bogaerts. Obviously, that's not some sort of... it's not by chance that they're set up next to each other, but Xander Bogaerts, he did that thing in Lake Elsinore last year when he was trying to come back from his shoulder or his shoulder injury or whatever he hurt. I always forget, which is pretty stupid of me. But anyway, so he was up there with them. And side note, Xander got to do some sort of automated balls and strikes thing there while he was there. Anyway, Xander likes what he's seeing, and he says that he sees a difference in him from other 18-year-old ball players because I guess Leonidas DeVries is asking all of the right questions, and he is trying to soak up as much knowledge as he can during spring training. And Bogaerts went on to say, even me, I wasn't like that. You're probably thinking about things like positioning, how do you turn a double play, something like that. But he's already kind of like aware. He wants to know, is our mindset different in the majors? How do we deal with failure if we get to that point? This is all good stuff. I like the type of players that the Padres are bringing in. It seems like even more so this year, they're really focusing on culture, and I think that's a big thing for the Padres. They want guys to know that when you were brought into the Padres organization, you are going to basically do whatever you can to help the team. And if you don't want to do that, then you probably don't want to be a Padre. And the guys are seeing these young guys working hard, asking the right questions, and getting better. And that bodes well for everyone that is a fan of the San Diego Padres. Leonidas DeVries is probably not going to debut this year, but I like what he's doing right now, and he's going to just keep getting better, hopefully. I mean, that's what he did last year, so can't really see him doing anything else other than be great. He was the highest-ranked Padre in the top 100 of MLB Pipeline's recent prospect list, and he was ranked at number 18. And this is the first time that he's in a big league camp for the first time. I said that so many times. I need to focus. I was looking at the TV. I was looking at over here. I was looking at the chat. But Leonidas DeVries is opening eyes to everyone in a Padres uniform and opening eyes to everyone in Peoria right now, which I like to see. All right, so Aaron Boone was given a 2-year extension by the Yankees today, and some Yankees fans, I'm not going to lump them all together, some Yankees fans, I think, are not happy about this. And the Yankee way, though, like, they keep acting like it's the Yankee way, where they have to win the World Series every year just because that was the law for so long. And it's not that way anymore. The Yankees haven't won a World Series, I think, since 2009. So coming up on 16 years of being championship lists. And that's kind of a big deal for the Yankees. And Aaron Boone he has been doing a really good job for this team. And I went to look at some of the stats to kind of see, all right, why I wanted to get into the mind of a Yankee fan, and I wanted to figure out why or what are the different reasons that I may dislike Aaron Boone as my manager. And I couldn't find numbers to kind of back it up. Out of 313 managers with at least 400 games under their belt in baseball history, so 313 managers who have at least 400 games managed, Aaron Boone is tied for 12th in win percentage. He just has over 1,000 games. He's won at least 90 games, 5 out of 7 seasons. And I only really count one because of the COVID season. And then 2023 is the one full season that they did not win 90 or more games. His playoff record, I think, is where the fans are pretty mad. And I as a Yankee fan, yeah, sure, you want to win a championship every single year, but it's not going to the playoffs these days is not as easy as people make it out to be. And as the Yankees made it out to be over the years. But his playoff record is 22-23, and they've made the playoffs in every year except for 2023. So if he could, I guess, win a few more games of the playoffs, maybe he could sway the Yankees fans over. I bet you, even if he wins the World Series, Aaron Boone, as the manager of the Yankees, I think Yankees fans would still be mad. And this is why I think he's perfect for the position, too, because he doesn't really care at all. He doesn't care at all. And that's why he's perfect for the New York media, because he dealt with it as a player, and he dealt with it, and he is dealing with it as a manager. Some of those managers before him, well, I know Joe Girardi before him, there was at times when the Yankees fans wanted him gone, and they wanted him, so then they got what they wanted, and then Aaron Boone comes in, and they're not happy with Aaron Boone. And this is every fan base in sports. It's not like this is unique to the Yankees. Maybe their a requirement of a championship every year is unique to the Yankees, but Aaron Boone is a good manager, and anybody who's able to win 90 games in 5 of 7 seasons, more than 90 games, 5 of 7 seasons, is a really good manager in my book. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier on Gwynn and Chris, and it's like my first question when any coach is up for being fired, or manager, or whatever. So any of the NFL coaches, my first question is, who's better that you can get to replace him? And yeah, there's guys out there that would love to be the Yankee manager, but are they ready? Are they good? I don't know who would be able to fill in right now if they were to part ways with Aaron Boone. I don't know what direction the Yankees would go in. I can't really think of any sort of big name manager that's either not managing or is looking to work. Like Bruce Bochy took the year off. Everybody kind of figured he was going to come back. But I don't know that there's someone better out there for the Yankees than Aaron Boone. Let's see what he can do over these next 2 years. I understand if you go 10 years and you keep losing big games, sometimes you need to get a little bit of a new scenery. And that's totally understandable. I completely get situations like that. But if he is someone who goes to the World Series a couple more times, then, I mean, do you fire a manager after they get you to the World Series? Not necessarily win the World Series, but get you there? Say they get back there this next year? Like, is that an accomplishment for a manager to get their team deep in the playoffs every year, or is that a fireable offense that they haven't broken through and won the World Series? I tend to think that getting to the World Series consistently is more important than winning one out of like 40 years or something like that. I just think Aaron Boone's the best person for this job. All right. Speaking of New York, Juan Soto really loves his number 22. And I don't know how to feel about this whole thing, because the whole number thing is very strange to me. I'm not, a professional athlete, so I've not really had to choose a number for my life. But I to a certain extent, I can understand why you want your number, because it's your number. So Juan Soto, number 22, Brett Beatty, young guy, he is number 22 right now. So Juan Soto kind of did his feeling out of what Brett Beatty wanted for his number 22. And they have this all on video. Juan Soto, by the way, in full Mets uniform. I don't know if he was taking pictures that day or something, but they have Brett Beatty walk out. Juan Soto shows him his brand new Chevy Tahoe and it had a large red bow fastened to the hood and a message on the back windshield that said, "Thanks for number 22." Brett Beatty is loving this. He's loving this, obviously. This is a very nice car. Now, he probably has to, is Juan Soto going to pay for the insurance? No, of course he's not going to pay for the insurance. But here's where I find it kind of weird. It's weird because you're providing another person who has, how do I want to put this? Because Brett Beatty hasn't really broken through in the money department, I don't think. But it's always weird to me when guys will spend thousands of dollars for their number, and I'm assuming this Chevy Tahoe, it's very, very nice. I'm assuming it's gotta be. Oh, Soto did tell us. Okay, this article has been updated. $92,000 for the vehicle. So it cost him $92,000 for the number. He said it's not about the car. It's just something that's going to make Brett happy. And whenever he sees it, he tells himself that it's worth giving the number 22. Anyway, here's where I take a turn in this whole thing. This is one big old now I'm forgetting the phrase. This is just one big old media party. I don't know. Why can't I think of the phrase right now? Jeez, come on. But this is just all for the cameras. Juan Soto's legitimately, and again, he may have been coming from pictures or something, but there's cameras everywhere outside. They're ready for this. News stations, all of that. Juan Soto in full uniform, ready for Brett Beatty to come outside. This is 100% just a media stunt. And I spent time talking about it, yes, because it's very interesting to see that Juan Soto paid $92,000 for number 22. It doesn't really matter. I mean, $765 million is what he's going to be making over the next 15 years. So it's not that big of a dent in his pocket, but this is just one big media feel good. Trying to get, I finally figured it out. Staged. That's what it is. This is completely staged. I don't know why I forgot the word staged, but I did. This is so staged. I would much rather hear about this stuff without the video, without the fanfare, without all of the articles, all of that. It's just trying to put out some good PR right now about Juan Soto. Not that he's a bad guy or anything like that, but it seems like whatever Juan Soto wants, Juan Soto gets. And that's a little bit of the part that bothers me, because you know what? Not everyone gets what they want. Juan. This is a world where you have to learn that you're not going to get everything. I'm telling this to a guy who has $765 million in his bank account in 15 years. So he doesn't really care what I think, and he shouldn't care what I think. But there you go. That's the New York stories that we have. All right, when we get back on the Skraby Show, we're going to get into the triple daily gripe, triple gripe Thursday, and we're also I'm going to try and explain this new stat that I saw this morning, and we'll get into a statistic conversation when we get back here on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan. commercial break. The U.S. has scored a goal! That's all I can do. That's all I can do. And I know you don't do that in hockey, but I wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do that. But the U.S. has scored another goal in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game. 2-1 now, USA over Canada. 11:03 left in the second period here. So, I like the boards that they have. And I know that I've seen this before, but I've never actually been able to comment on it on the radio. But those video boards that they have at hockey games are awesome. They change colors, they change sponsors. They're awesome. But USA on top now, 2-1. I wanted to read a comment real quick about Soto before we head into the other stuff that I have for the end of the show. This deceptions runs. I don't know how well I'm going to explain it, but we're going to try. Avo Goofy says, Soto is making $51 million a year. The $100,000 Tahoe costs 0.001% of his salary. That is you spending $100 on something if your salary is $100,000 a year. He makes $139. No, this is wrong. He makes $139,725,000 a day. Million? I don't think that's right. Tahoe, $273 a day. It's not the whole Juan Soto buying a car thing is not a money thing because I know that he has it. It's really all about the fact that Juan Soto gets his way all the time because he wants his stupid number. Again, athletes are superstitious. I can't say it's stupid, but I think the whole thing was staged and set up for good press. I guess he's supposed to make his debut on Saturday, Juan Soto. So, if anybody cares, there you go. I didn't want it to think. I didn't want people to think it was about the money. The money is not my issue. He can spend his money however he wants. It's just the process of everything that happened. Okay, let's do this now. I don't even know. Someone just posted the same exact thing that someone wrote earlier. Anyway, I guess someone has two accounts in the chat. All right, let's go to this new thing, and it's from Medium.com, and I saw it earlier. And here's my whole philosophy on analytics in baseball. I think some analytics are really good. I think that the analytics that take actual numbers from play on the field and use them, I think those numbers I can get behind. There are some numbers that I just can't get behind. I know that FIP is becoming a big number, fielding independent of position, so maybe I'm going to have to look into FIP a little bit more. I know that there are some that just don't really make any sense at all because it's expected, weighted runs created plus is numbers that are using fake numbers, basically, like stadium atmosphere. I'm not using the correct language, and I know there are analytics people out there that are angry at me for even saying that because I'm not presenting it well. I think that some of those stats are not stats for me. Again, do I care if you follow these stats? No, I don't. But I get a lot of arguments in these analytics stats. Like, I can't argue with someone who's using some of these stats as like they're picking and choosing which stats they want to use so that it fits their argument. Like, I understand that batting average and those numbers are not that big of a deal anymore. I like OPS plus. It's a 0 to like 200 scale, 100 being average. If you want to look quickly and see how good a player is, you can see their OPS plus. Say Fernando's 170, that means he's very, very, very good. I like those numbers. But here is the stat. Deception runs and deception plus. And I am going to read it exactly because I'm not good at math. And that's probably another reason I'm not a big it's probably another reason I'm not a big analytic guy is because I don't like math and I'm not good at math whatsoever. But it says, what is a correct swing? In order to evaluate swing decisions, this is what it is. I should explain this too. Deception runs is all about correct swings. Like, does a pitcher bait a player into swinging at a ball they shouldn't swing at? This is what we're talking about. So here is where it goes. Correct swing percentage is what we're going to be talking about. The formula is correct swing percent equals correct swings over pitches seen with some sort of E in there. And I know that I'm not very smart when I say some sort of E in there, so I should have left the formula out. But here's the explanation of the formula. I promise I knew this was going to be tough for me going into it, and I'm doing it anyway because I'm going to have to stumble through it by myself, and everybody gets to hear me stumble through it. The formula is fairly simple, it says, but defining what a correct swing looks like gets a bit tricky. I'll explain the math and the models coming to such conclusions later, but for now, think of a correct swing as the batter making a decision, swing or no swing, and the expected run value from doing so being greater than if they had done the opposite. In other words, if the batter had made the other decision, would that pitch have been worth more or less runs? There are many ways to validate this metric, of which I did. The stickiness, also known as year-to-year correlation, is 0.78, but for the sake of length, I'm going to make 1 point. Javier Baez is last, and as a Red Sox fan, Ceddanne Rafaela being the fourth lowest makes me trust the metric just as much. Everyone on this list has two things in common. They don't chase and they take walks. You may be questioning DJ Stewart at number 1, but he was 100th percentile in chase and walk rate last year, although not qualified. So, again, I don't want to like make it seem like I'm making fun of analytic people, but this is one of those stats I just don't think is something that we need in baseball. I don't like stats that are based upon numbers that aren't actually created on a baseball field. And I'm in the minority of that. I know that there are a lot of people that are definitely into some of these stats. Again, I'm fine with that, but I'm just not someone who is going to take those numbers and actually apply it like it's real life. For me at least, and because I can't really, I can't do the math in my head, but it's just, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's from, I should actually tell you who wrote it. It's from Ben Resnick. And Ben Resnick, I got to say, did lots of thinking about this. And he did lots of analysis and writing how it works and everything. So at the end, it goes like this. Deception runs are more useful than Deception Plus. I'm not even going to go into Deception Plus, because it provides an actual run value that has a real context. Deception Plus is used to easily compare these deception run values against each other, because sometimes a stat isn't that easy to interpret on its own. Both stats have good correlation with pitcher success, and I think although it can take a larger sample to stabilize, the usefulness of deception runs is palpable. If you have any... Oh, there. That's the end of it. I'm going to have to look up palpable real quick. I think it means something, but I'm not going to use that word. So intense, yes. Plain to see or comprehend. Well, it's easy to say that your new stat that you created is palpable, but I don't understand it. And if there are people out there that think that this is something like... If you think this is a stat that we need, please let me know in the chat. I really would like to know who's going to use this. Not me. I just don't think this is something that we need to be looking at on a daily basis. Because really, like, we don't know for 100% why a batter swung. We don't know. I know that's very broad, but I don't know. I get into these analytic conversations all the time. And there are a couple people on this station that love analytics, and that's fine, again. But I need stats that come from the baseball field. Joseph says, only batting stats I pay attention to. Average on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, K percentage, base on ball percentage, hard hit percent, and whiff percent. I like those because they are based on real things that happen in the game. I like the exit velocity stat because it tells you how hard someone's hitting the ball. If we're seeing Manny Machado get out 10 times in a row, but he has an average 110 mile an hour exit velocity, you know that he's seeing the ball well and he's hitting the ball well. But those are the ones that I'm able to get behind and able to understand quickly and easily. some of these other mathematician type stats, that's where I get confused. That's where I get very confused. Everybody knows I am not good at math whatsoever. But if you want to find this, Ben Resnick, RESNIC, introducing deception runs and deception plus, a measurement of a pitcher's ability to force a batter into bad swing decisions, and it's on medium.com. So I don't know that I really explained that very well and wasn't very articulate with it, but that's how confusing that stat is for me. That is a very confusing stat for me. All right. We are headed to the end of the Skraby Show. Oh my gosh, it's time for Triple Gripe Thursday.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, I'm going to start with this one first. We're going triple gripe, so I'm going to go from least serious gripe to most serious gripe. And so the least serious gripe is this one. Every time I've been getting to work lately, like for years and years and years and years, the time that I arrive at work is usually when people are not at the office or they're on lunch or something like that. So I always find a spot that's close to where I need to go. And I am a creature of habit. I like the spots that I like. And maybe the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I have been coming here, and every spot is filled with a car or a motorcycle. And so I had to park all the way in the back of the parking lot, like so far away. And I don't know that the reason I don't like having my car so far away is because it's sitting there by itself right now at night. I'd rather have my car closer to the office buildings because then it would be, little, I guess, less likely to be broken into. But there's one of them. Second gripe on Triple Gripe Thursday. And I saw this today and I thought it was funny. People who have, like, the peace and love bumper sticker or Jesus is my co-pilot bumper sticker, and they end up being the jerkiest jerk drivers on the road. I thought you were all about peace and joy or peace and love, and you were all about Jesus is my co-pilot, but you also flipped me off when you cut me off. It legitimately happened today. It legitimately did. And I saw on the back of their window, it said Jesus is my co-pilot. And so I was like, Jesus didn't teach you to flip me off as you cut me off. That's what I learned when I was growing up, at least. All right, final oh no. We're running out of time, but I got a couple minutes left. Canada just scored. Ooh, that was a good goal. Right over the goalie's shoulder. I think it's 2-2 now, so let's see if... I want to see the score. Okay, I'll give you the score in just a second. My third daily gripe is actually about this Delta flight that landed in Toronto and it flipped over. I know that a lot of people have seen this. The gripe is a serious one, but there's a video out there and you could find it on YouTube, but this guy is getting off, or I don't know who's actually getting off the plane. Someone is getting off the plane, and they're videoing and recording the process of getting off the plane. Number one, whoever that Delta flight attendant was that was helping people out the door, really good job. But my question is, why are we recording a video from the runway after your plane flipped over and you're trying to get out before it catches on fire? Like someone said to me that they actually the people behind this person with the video were very nervous about the plane catching on fire. You can even hear the flight attendant saying, "Put everything down, get out of here." But this person did not. And I think that I think that we need to maybe start thinking about other people instead of what goes on the gram. Oh, for the lawsuit, you need the video. I don't need a video to prove that the plane flipped over. I don't need a video to prove that the plane flipped over. They already got $30,000 from Delta. That's what they gave everyone, $30,000. But and they all lived, which is the most important part of everything. They all lived, which is insane if you see this video. There's many videos of this plane in Toronto, Delta flight. But this person getting off the plane just really kind of bothered me, because if I know that if I was behind this person and I could smell smoke and the plane is upside down and this person's live streaming, I would be pretty angry about that. But thankfully it didn't happen to me. Thankfully, everyone survived, and we don't have to talk about any sadness to that part of the story. All right, thank you for joining me tonight on the Skraby Show. Back for one more tomorrow. First game of the season starts tomorrow for the Padres. We are going to have it on the station at noon. Make sure you tune in for that. And then right after the game, you will have some Gwen and Chris and a Skraby Show tomorrow night. So have a great night. Go USA. It's 2-2, 5:51 left in the second period. USA is going to win this game, I promise. We're going to be talking about Team USA win tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody.
We're only a few weeks away from the madness, so let's look at some college hoops. Chris Mack here to help you beat the book.